So yeah, batting $4 will get you a cup of coffee if you don't mind it being sour coffee and taking a half hour standing in line.
Is that how much they charge for that?
No, that's how much they charge for coffee.
How much is it to do the thing?
Prices vary depending on attitude.
Really?
But I think it's somewhere in the neighborhood of $50 or $60 to do your first flight. And, I think that is 3 minutes worth of flight on 1 minute at a time, which doesn't sound like much until you're in there doing it.
It's long. It's amazing how long a minute can be.
Yeah, and what you're doing is you're learning to fly your body as if you were falling straight down an elevator shaft. It's if you're not using the right body position, and that's what these things are all about, is training you how to do real skydiving. And
you have to be in sort of like that type of a
belly to earth with a sort of a spread eagle,
yeah.
with your and in an arched position to where the air is flowing around you, and then your control surfaces are from the tips of your fingers to the tips of your toes. You're learning to fly your whole entire body.
True. Oh.
Which these things are really important in making formation skydives. It's important in being in the right position when you deploy a parachute, so the air is coming around you properly, so the parachute goes straight up without twisting or turning. You need to be flat, level, and smooth when you deploy a parachute to avoid complications.
Really?
And this is the place that one could learn to do it.
Now, is this required to do skydiving?
No, it's not. There are packages you can buy that will include wind tunnel time to get you used to having your knees in the breeze. Or that's a motorcycling term, but you know what I mean.
Yes, I do.
And then you could do a tandem jump, so you know what the whole thing of having a parachute on your back is, and you have a professional skydiver who's done hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands and thousands of jumps, which in Perris, some of the most experienced skydiving instructors in the world are here.
Really?
So this is a good way to get, if you want to become an active skydiving enthusiast, which when I started, my first jump was in 1981, and I couldn't figure out why anybody would want to do this more than once.
So is it required to do tandem at first?
No, I've never done a tandem. I went straight to doing AFF, accelerated freefall training, where they give you a ground school and teach you everything you need to know, and some things that are, and then after your ground school, which could be 4 to 6 hours depending on your capacity, and then you get on the plane, and it's they gear you up, put you on a plane, 20-minute plane ride, and you're in free fall from a couple miles up.
Yeah, so you jumped at what, 14?
12,500 is the normal jump height, which asking how high is a WFO experience, because it's not about how high you are, because you're hopping out and it's like floating. If you've ever, you're doing about 120 miles an hour straight down as you're falling, which the best way I've described the feeling to people is if you've ever gone really, really, really fast on a motorcycle, like 120 miles an hour, and the feeling of the wind going around you as you break your way through the air, that's part of the feeling of skydiving.
Really?
And there's the euphoria of being way up in the air and living through it.
How fast do you fall?
120 miles an hour, roughly.
Really?
119 is what some people say it is. But different sized people and different weight of people with less resistance or more resistance fall at different rates. But it's roughly 120, which is pretty darn tootin' fast.
It's very fast. How hard do you hit when you land?
That depends on skill level and how much fabric you have over your head. But there are accuracy competitions in certain parts of the world where the pros will be aiming for landing at a 1 meter wide disc that has the sensors in it, and
3 feet,
and it's measured in centimeters.
Really?
Yeah. So the accuracy is measured within, and if you're really good at it, you can land 3 times out of 3 within 10 centimeters of the center of this 1 meter mark.
Wow.
So that and it's done with almost a twinkle toe kind of landing.
Really?
Some guys like to swoop in and go real fast downwind, but with the increased acceleration of the parachute, there's more drive and more turn, and some of them say it's more accurately. But some people like to float in, and you land like Mary Poppins lands in movies.
Some people hit hard though.
Oh yeah, if you don't have a parachute, you hit really hard.
What's the altitude you usually open at?
That depends on your skill level, and but 2,000 feet is the lowest, is the minimum lowest required pack opening. You need to have some sort of fabric over your head starting at 2,000 feet. I've done some camera jumps, and if you have a bunch of flailing geeks in the air and you're worried about them entangling with your parachute, because they always forget there's a cameraman right above filming them. So sometimes you need to wait till they get their parachute open. And I've opened lower, and then you grab a hold of the control handles and you're ready to cut away. If you look up and see anything less than a perfect parachute, you pull the handles and your reserve parachute pops out above you. And the reserve always works.
Really?
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Really? You ever had one fail? Your reserve?
Yeah, so you jump from 12,500 feet, and you get about a minute of free fall. So doing 3 training jumps in the wind tunnel is like doing 3 skydives within one day without the hassle of putting the equipment on and off, riding in the plane, which it's a cargo kind of thing in the plane. You're not exactly in a first class luxury flight with in-flight cocktails.
No drinks?
No drinks or drugs during the skydiving day. But what goes on at night, nobody knows.
So nobody can drink when they skydive.
Correct.
You're not supposed to.
Because altitude, you're a couple miles up in the sky, and the change in the density of the oxygen in the air, you can think you just have a little buzz going on down on the ground, and then the plane right up, and then when the door opens, all of a sudden you realize you've got more than just a buzz going on. So it's dangerous, because it slows your reaction time. And there's times where you need to react within a minute. Your first 1,000 feet from when you let go of the plane, your first 1,000 feet of falling, so to go from 12.5 to 11.5 takes 10 seconds. And that's because you're accelerating as you go. Then the next 1,000 feet and all the way down until you get fabric over your head is 6 seconds for every 1,000 feet of falling.
Wow.
So it's fast. It's 1,000 feet every 6 seconds. That's 120 miles an hour.
From the time you jump from the plane to the ground or to your altitude where you pull it, it's what, about a minute?
You do about a minute of free fall. And once students have to open higher because you're not used to the reaction times and things like that. So on a tandem, you get 4,500 feet. And I think that's my friend, the security guard over there, turning that along just to make sure our recording sounds like.
Trying to wreck our
So yeah, we'll edit and add later more of this, and maybe even put some like really cool rock and roll music to it. But that's the
might even jam.
That's the Perris skydiving wind tunnel here, and it kicks ass. Give it a try.
Yes. All right. This is Ken Lafler and Dwight Dawson for Counterpoint.
Signing out.
Signing out.
Roger 10-4.
Roger 10-4. Okay.